Why is it that in so many workplaces, the people at the top, the managers, the executives, the bosses, often seem less competent than the people working under them? You've probably experienced this before. Maybe you've thought to yourself, I could do this job better than my boss. And yet, they're the ones in charge, making the big decisions, signing your paycheck, while you're stuck taking orders. So, how does this happen? Why do the wrong people get ahead? And more importantly, what can you do about it? Today, we'll explore this uncomfortable but deeply important question through history, philosophy, psychology, and some real life lessons. Welcome to The Timeless Mind, Part 1: The Paradox of Power. History gives us plenty of examples where the least competent end up in charge. Think of Roman Emperor Nero, fiddling while Rome burned, or medieval kings who inherited thrones not because of wisdom, but because of bloodlines. Even in modern times, you see CEOs who know less about the product than the engineers who build it, or politicians who seem clueless about the people they claim to serve. So, why does this keep happening? The answer lies in what I call the paradox of power. Intelligence and competence don't always translate into leadership. In fact, sometimes being too competent can work against you, because leadership isn't just about knowing the right answer, it's about playing the game. And the game, whether in politics, business, or your office, rewards very different skills. Part 2: Why the Wrong People Rise. Let's break it down. There are several reasons why the so called dumber people rise to power. 1. Confidence over competence. Psychologists call this the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with less knowledge often overestimate their abilities, while those who are truly skilled underestimate themselves. In the workplace, the overconfident person speaks up, takes credit, and volunteers for leadership roles. Meanwhile, the competent worker stays quiet, double checking their work, making sure they really know enough. Guess who gets promoted? 2. Playing politics. Power isn't just about being good at your job, it's about being good at appearing good at your job. That means networking, flattering the right people, taking credit for wins, shifting blame for failures. Unethical? Maybe, but effective. History is full of leaders who weren't the smartest in the room, but they knew how to read the room. 3. The Peter Principle. There's a management theory called the Peter Principle. In organizations, people are promoted until they reach a level of incompetence. Think of it this way: you're great at sales, so you get promoted to sales manager. But managing people requires different skills than selling. You're not good at it, but now you're stuck there. This explains why so many bosses seem, well, bad at their jobs. 4. Comfort versus risk. Competent people often care about doing things the right way, but that makes them cautious. They hesitate before making bold moves. Meanwhile, the less competent person just goes for it. And sometimes, boldness gets rewarded. Part 3: Lessons from History. This dynamic isn't new. It's as old as civilization. Ancient Rome. Julius Caesar wasn't the greatest general of his time, but he was bold, politically savvy, and willing to cross boundaries others wouldn't. The Middle Ages. Kings often inherited power not because of wisdom, but because they were born first. Entire empires fell because of a single incompetent heir. Modern business. Look at corporate scandals like Enron or Lehman Brothers. Companies destroyed not by lack of intelligence at the worker level, but by arrogance and incompetence at the top. What do these examples teach us? That the world doesn't reward intelligence alone. It rewards a combination of perception, confidence, and politics. Part 4: Why this matters to you. You might be thinking, okay, great history lesson. But what does this mean for me? Sitting in my cubicle, dealing with a boss who couldn't run a lemonade stand. Here's the truth. Understanding why the wrong people rise can help you avoid two traps. Resentment. If you spend your whole career bitter that the boss is dumber than you, you'll burn out. Instead, understand the system and decide how to play within it. Blindness. Sometimes we think being smart and hardworking is enough, but it's not. If you want to rise, you need more than technical skill. You need influence. You need presence. You need strategy. Part 5. What you can do about it. Now let's get practical. 1. Learn the game. If you want to move ahead, you can't ignore office politics. This doesn't mean being fake or manipulative. It means understanding relationships, power dynamics, and perception. Philosopher Machiavelli said, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." Your competence matters, but only if people see it. 2. Balance competence with confidence. Don't wait until you're 110% ready. Speak up. Take ownership. Put yourself forward. If you know you're good at what you do, act like it. 3. Find allies. No one rises alone. Even the most successful leaders had networks. Build genuine connections. Support others. It will come back around. 4. Pick your battles. Sometimes you won't be able to change your boss. That's okay. What you can do is decide whether to stay, adapt, or move on. Philosophy reminds us you can't control the world, but you can control your response. Part 6. A philosophical perspective. Let's zoom out. Philosophers like Plato argued that society should be led by philosopher kings, the wisest among us. But history shows us that rarely happens. Instead, as Nietzsche said, madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages, it is the rule. The crowd doesn't always choose the wisest, it chooses the boldest, and that's why your boss, who might not be smarter than you, is still in charge. But here's the silver lining. Wisdom isn't wasted. Even if you're not the one on top, your competence, your integrity, and your clarity give you something more valuable than titles. They give you freedom. The freedom to choose your path, to see through illusions, to avoid the mistakes of fools. Part 7. Closing thoughts. So the next time you're frustrated that your boss is dumber than you, remember this. The world doesn't always reward intelligence, but it does reward those who understand the game. Learn the rules, play wisely, and most importantly, don't lose yourself in the process. Because in the end, the real measure of success isn't just being in charge, it's living a life where your competence and your values actually align. This has been The Timeless Mind, where we use history and philosophy to understand not just the world we live in, but the choices we make every day. If this video gave you something to think about, subscribe for more deep explorations into the hidden truths of life. And remember, it's not always the smartest who lead, but it can always be the wisest who endure.